Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a deep dive on the Kizer Deviant. I'll walk through the specs, show how it handles in hand, highlight what works and what doesn't, and give you my thoughts on how this one stacks up. If you're thinking about this knife, this video is for you. Let's jump into the specs. This has an overall length of 7.25 inches, has a blade length of 3 inches, and a handle length of 4.25 inches. This size makes it very comparable to other favorites out there. It doesn't really look out of place next to the Kizer Drop Bear, along with the Civivi Sikoke. Overall, a very familiar footprint. This has a sheep's foot style blade and is coming in with a blade of M390, so a little bit more of a premium steel. It has a flat grind and has a black finish. I usually prefer satin blades, but the dark blade on this actually looks really good with the black micarta handle scales. What's interesting about this knife, it has two different handle materials. You have micarta and G10 here at the bolster. You don't often see G10 and micarta combined, and I can kind of see why. I personally think this knife would look a lot better without the G10 and just be straight micarta throughout, but it's not a huge deal. This opens with just strictly thumb studs, no other methods. Fortunately, it's rather smooth and it fires out. It also drops shut pretty easily due to the liner lock, and Kizer always has the action dialed in. What stands out is the 3-inch blade length, and the overall size makes it a somewhat compact folder that's definitely in the EDC category. The shape's foot blade gives a clean and functional profile. The handle materials, a G10 and micarta, give it a pretty high quality feeling. The liner lock and thumb stud are standard but reliable, and overall from a spec standpoint, everything seems really solid. Now, having the knife in hand, here are my first impressions. For the feel and ergonomics, the handle length of just over 4 inches allows you to have a full hand grip for many users. That's pretty generous for a 3-inch blade. The overall size of just over 7 inches open means it carries a bit larger than ultra mini folders, but in exchange you get way more handle real estate. The white G10 coupled with the black micarta gives it a nice visual contrast, but the white scale can show some wear, which is something to note. And while the micarta adds texture and grip, after carrying this for a bit, I've kind of grown to despise this white G10, and I find it constantly picking up dirt and grime. I really wish it was just a straight piece of micarta instead of trying to be fancy with this two-tone look. One thing I really do like though is this sheep's foot blade. I really love this shape, as this is something a little bit different than the standard drop point you see on every knife, and because the cutting edge is straight with a minimal point, it really emphasizes control over aggressive tip work. One thing I will note is the overall lack of jimping anywhere. I think this knife looks rather clean without it, but it's still a strange decision to fail to include it on the spine for some increased control. Now for the build quality. Kizer used some premium materials here. The fit and finish look quite clean, the scales are flushed, and the liners are well aligned. The liner lock is solid and strong, the thumb stud opening is symmetrical for ambidextrous use, and there's ample room to access the liner lock. The action is typical from Kizer, which means it's pretty dialed in and satisfactory. So here's some notes about the blade. Coming in with this black finish, it's not my favorite, but it looks good compared to the black micarta. I love that this is M390, but one thing that really bugs me here is the branding all over the blade. On the front here, we have a really large and obnoxious Kizer logo, and we flip it to the back, we have a small maker's mark, and then a very large branding of the knife name on the blade. It just seems really tacky for me for some reason. For example, if we look at this blade and compare it to the Civivi Sikoke, Sikoke lacks any branding on the front and just a designer name on the back. This lack of branding just makes it seem so much more cleaner in my opinion, and I much prefer that. This overall size means it may not disappear in smaller pockets, but the handle materials being G10 and micarta keep weight and bulk fairly manageable at 3.81 ounces. Tip up carry is standard and unfortunately only right hand only. And one thing to note about this pocket clip is the design. It's different from the generic run-of-the-mill clips you can find on other Kizer models. This one kind of widens near the bottom and actually features a rather weird design. The clip is deep carry with flush screws because you can actually access the screws through the inside of the liner. Should you wish to remove this clip, you'll actually have to take this knife completely apart, which I find very strange. I like that they try to do something different here, but for me, it's just a swing and a miss. If this clip ever came loose and I had to tighten it up, having to take apart the knife just to get to the clip is a very strange solution. Let's talk use case and how this knife handles in real life EDC. For an everyday carry fit with its size, it fits in really well with the EDC folder category rather than the ultra compact. If you want a very small carry, you might find this slightly large, but for many users, this is the sweet spot of size versus utility. The sheep split blade gives it a really refined look, and this can transition well between casual carry, business casual environments, or even more formal carry settings, especially with the black micarta scales and the white G10 contrast. Because the blade is 3 inches and the handle is plenty sized, you're getting a robust tool rather than a novelty piece. If you carry a folder for utility and not just show, this has real potential to be a solid user, especially with a high-performing M390 steel. Let's talk value and some caveats. For value, for a knife with premium handle materials, micarta G10, a 3-inch blade, interesting profile with a sheep slit design, you're getting a well-equipped piece. With a blade steel being Bowler M390, that definitely increases the value, and this is a more premium steel. The build, materials, and design suggest this is more than entry level, despite being categorized for everyday carry, so this has a price of $120, which seems somewhat fair. In my opinion, I feel like this knife just misses the mark for me for some reason. I love this design, and I've been tracking one of these down for a while now, and they've been kind of hard to find and they've been discontinued. Yet having it in hand and carrying it for a bit, I just haven't been in love with this like I thought I would. For one thing, I think the price is too high. Even though it comes in with a premium steel, I still feel like this is an $80 knife, not over the $100 mark. Some of my gripes are simple but frustrating. For one, I hate the white G10. I think it just looks cheap and gets dirty so fast. I'd have wiped this down with a magic eraser before this video just to get this presentable for this video. I don't even do any crazy work, so how this picks up dirt like it does is a mystery. Another thing that really puzzles me is the pocket clip. I mentioned it earlier, but what were they thinking with this guy? I like the opportunity to swap a clip should one break or just want to upgrade. Having a clip that requires you to disassemble the knife is just very strange. Overall, it just feels like this doesn't do anything special or sets it apart from a lot of other knives out there. Maybe I had too high hopes for it, but this isn't for me. To wrap it up, if I was summarizing this knife in one sentence, the Kizer Deviant delivers a stylish, well-built EDC folder with premium materials and a distinct sheep slit profile, but this just isn't the carry for me. I'd recommend it to somebody who wants a folding knife that stands out in design thanks to this two-tone handle and unique blade shape, or a user looking for a reliable, everyday carry utility for opening boxes, general cutting chores, with a little bit of a premium feel. You might want to look elsewhere if you need a blade with a very sharp tip or heavy tactical piercing, as the sheep slit profile may limit you. If ultra lightweight, ultra small pocket carry is your priority, the size may be a bit bigger than needed. If you don't want visible wear on your handle scale, the white G10 may not be ideal. Thanks for watching this quick breakdown. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, consider subscribing for more gear reviews, and leave a comment. I'd love to know, what do you think of this knife? Would this be something you would carry? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.